We're going to find out exactly what happens when you stumble across what's called a peeler, or a copper, as
Oh.
it were, as Lieutenant Blackwell and Ms Russell attempted to sneak their way towards this conflagration of people, and has unfortunately stumbled across something else entirely. So, Lieutenant Blackwell, how do you handle said situation?
So when I realize it's a copper that's addressing us, I reprimand him and I ask him who he thinks he's talking to. And I try to take a control of the situation.
All right, let's see here. So, well, before we roll anything, let's kind of act that out a little bit here. So the copper, he has like his long navy blue coat that's on. He's got the fitted kind of beanie or top hat that's on and everything, and it's even got a little badge on the top of the hat, and then also on his breast. But you see, he's got a lantern, like a bullseye lantern, that he's like pointing in your direction, and then he's got like basically a billy club that's out right now. And
Oh.
so so right, you with you with these folks over here, huh? You guys looking for trouble? You guys are gonna find it if you keep going this direction. So he's like, it's kind of a mixture of concern and also trying to express authority. So go ahead, Nate. How do you respond to there?
I would say, who do I look like I'm with that rabble out there? And you would do well to mind your tone when speaking to your betters.
Oh, he like looks you up and down. You feel the light kind of going up and down on. And now, what are you wearing? Are you wearing your uniform or?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
little
okay.
rough around the edges, but in the dark you probably wouldn't be able to tell that.
Okay. But as he shines his light on you, he sees your pauldron identifiers for lieutenant, that sort of thing, and he's like, "Oh well, Lieutenant, well, well, apologies, my good sir, but you shouldn't be here.
Very well,
There's
very well, very well. And I start pressing for information. Do you know anything about this mob and what's going on?
no, it was quite it's just a mob of Bolsheviks trying to stir up trouble in the neighborhood. We're just trying to keep them quiet and get them moving along before any kind of major trouble
Well, then
asserts
why are you
itself.
over here bothering me and this lady instead of being over there with the mob?
Well, we was just concerned we had heard a noise back here and didn't know if there was more of the mob trying to. Well, I'll be out. I'll be on my way up, sir. But, Lieutenant, thank you for your time. Please do be careful. Please do be careful. And he like steps away.
All right.
So
Well done, good sir.
All right.
so he steps away, and you kind of. So what do you want to do at this point? You're at that mouth of the alley, and kind of straight ahead and kind of curving to the left, you can see the glow of the fire that had brought Dr. Loom's attention, but now you can see it pretty clearly now. And you can hear the shouting of people.
So that's the mob over there that we're
Mhm.
trying to avoid, right?
That's
Okay.
right.
And do we have any way to continue on around it, or is our way blocked?
You could continue going kind of straight into the right and kind of circumvent the mob, and then you could probably get your way back onto the normal path to head towards Mrs. Henry Doyle's house.
How far are we from the actual mob? Like, can we see individual people? Can we see Dove and Dr. Loom?
You might be able to see me. I don't know
Right.
if you're
Yeah.
a
Good
good
shape.
doctor.
I'd say there's a mixture in the mob, and so this will be
Okay.
for both parties concerned. There's a mixture in the mob of not just humans, but there's also some beastmen as well. But you can also see from your perspective, Lieutenant Blackwell and Miranda, you can see that individual that's dressed up like a military person has that
Okay.
white porcelain mask over their face, just kind of getting the crowd stirred up into a froth. But it is quite clear that they're protesting this.
Okay.
But your position also gives you a unique view of the police constabulary that's arrayed against them. And yeah, it looks like there's about an equal amount of officers, or roughly 20 to 25, what's termed as peelers, or the city officers, that are arrayed against them. And they're being led by most of them are human. There's maybe one or two ogre that are there, just more probably like muscle. But there is an Eldrin that looks to be in leadership of the group of policemen. So Dove, kind of coming back to your side of the mob as you're kind of approaching from the left side. So what are you and Dr. Loom doing at this point?
Well, I'm still trying to gauge the temperature because Dove would be all about. I mean, Dove one knows the conditions over there,
Right.
so he understands why these people wouldn't want to go fight. He understands why he wouldn't want to fight because some rich dude paid to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
He understands what they're doing. So as long as this appears to be a peaceful protest,
Mm-hmm.
he's just going to work his way through and just move past to get to the location they're going to.
Okay.
It's only if he feels that this is going to turn violent and ugly that he's going to stop it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. What kind of skills can you bring to bear to determine that information? Had maybe a streetwise concern, or
I would love to roll streetwise. I actually have dice in that.
that should work fine. And Dr. Loom, as Doe's kind of getting ready to roll some dice here? What are you up to as you're kind of listening to this go on?
As he's listening to it go on,
Yeah.
Dr. Loom is probably muttering to himself mostly. So, all
Yeah.
this prattle quality and spice, it would only take a small incision in the hyoglossus muscle of his tongue. I'd never have to listen to his prattle again.
I've got 2 successes in streetwise, so
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, the tone of the mob is not in such that they're here to burn the place down, but they are wanting to be heard. And
Yeah.
you notice that in the buildings that are around here, the homes, all their lights are on. There's people kind of looking fearfully through the curtains as they're seeing this mob being incited by the quote-unquote Tommy Atkins figure.
well, if they're not here to cause trouble other than just speaking their piece so that the upper class hears them, Dove's just going to make his way to where his friends are. He doesn't need to be here.
Okay. All right. And I assume, Dr. Loom, you're kind of following along in his wake.
Why are we going backwards? Can we not go through and get to our final destination? Those other two will catch up soon enough.
Hey, ideally, I'd love to get to where we're going, but you still haven't told me where it was. All I knew was about this group. Tell me where we're going, and I'll gladly go there.
So is that what do you do? Sorry, I missed that, Dr. Loom. Say that again.
Lieutenant Blackwell has the map, so we wouldn't know where we were going without.
Would it be a reasonable assumption that Lieutenant Blackwell, you would have shared the map?
I
or
think
is
so.
that-
I think I would have probably shared with them. We were so close; they probably knew. You know, before we
I know
broke.
where we're going.
Yeah.
And then also knowing that you were going to be splitting up
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So you, Dr. Loom, you probably have a good idea of where you're going.
Yeah,
We're probably not going to be able to get in without that military fancy pants, though.
I'm liking Dr. Loom less and less. As time
Right.
I felt that your opening remarks were too kind.
We'll get Blackwell. Let's go.
All right. So
Very well.
So you guys make your way through the crowd, and you're kind of pushing your way northward, beyond them.
I would assume that if Lieutenant and I were watching, we could see Dove's large figure working his way out of the crowd and through the other side.
Yeah, it's pretty apparent. Now, what I'll do now is for you, Lieutenant Blackwell and Miranda, if you wanted to roll some perceptions.
Okie dokie.
And this one would be, for you, Lieutenant Blackwell, it'd just be a 1 black die difficulty. For you, Miranda, it'd be a 2.
Okay.
All right.
2 6s and 1
Okay,
1
and,
6. Is that right?
So I got 2 successes.
and no black dice failures, so
I
cool.
have 2 successes and 1 failure, I think. if
So
I'm reading it
you at least
correctly.
got 1 success, so that's good. Okay, so it seems that from your perspective, what you're able to see is more of the demeanor of the constabulary that's arrayed against them. And it looks like they are about about to be guided to do something about this rabble, to put them in their place or to at least get them out of the neighborhood.
Okay.
So that's something that you can tell, and you're kind of keen on this one, Lieutenant Blackwell, just because of your background in tactics, that sort of thing. You can tell that the Eldrin that's in charge of them is definitely trying to control the situation proactively
Okay.
versus reactively.
Okay. So I would want to confer with the rest of the party on how I'd share that information with them whenever Dove and Dr. Loom get back and see if they'd want to intervene or just, stay apart from that.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's see. 2 black dice. Well, you know what, Lieutenant Blackwell, with your success, you actually may recognize the Eldrin. I was just realizing this. Do you have a high society skill?
I do, yes.
You do. Okay, what's your skill number on that?
It's 1.
Okay, that's enough, as long as it's not. I mean, yeah, 1 would be sufficient. I'm going to call it is. You actually recognize the Eldrin as Lord George Mace, the 5th Earl of Inversnaid, who is the head of Scotland Yard's etheric branch. And that's kind of like the magical branch of the police force.
Right. So this is a pretty high guy in the Scotland Yard there.
Right, exactly. So yeah.
Do I know him? Do I know him personally? Probably not. I would think.
Well, you know what? That would be a good opportunity to roll that high society, so we can see if maybe you might know of him personally, or at least have crossed paths with him.
So let's see. High society 1 plus wits, which is 2. So.
And this one would be, as far as difficulty, hang on 1 sec. This would be a 3 black dice difficulty on that one.
Okay. I also have natural charisma, but I think that only applies to other classes.
Yeah, that applies to classes that are lower than yours, I believe.
Okay.
Well, which is everybody.
So
awful. So awful.
That's a 0, so I don't know him.
Okay.
Personally.
All right, but yeah, you know of him as being the head of the etheric branch of the city police.
Okay.
So do with that as you will. You've also noticed the posturing of the police force that's arrayed against the mob. But yeah, so you guys are able to, again, it's kind of like you're dealing with, like, the mob is like right here and the police force is like right here, and then you're kind of making your way up this way, kind of with the police force as kind of like a shield against the rabble.
Okay. So we're to their backs.
Right, correct. So you can make your way past them.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. I am going to do one thing. Is for fun. I do this. I do this thing, and I will show you. All right. So it's a 2. Attribute is a 2, and no combo skill on that. 2 black dice. Let's see how that rolls out. None on either end. All right. So you see the Eldrin looking back and forth, Lord Mace looking back and forth and surveying the crowd, and he kind of glances your guys' way briefly because the officer that had chatted with you or run off scared from you mentioned running into you, Tim. He kind of like is at his elbow, just saying, sir, blah, 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 doing his report. And then he looks over and sees you and then just looks back and dismisses you as no threat.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely has that kind of imperious nature to himself.
Sure.
So okay, so you are able to get past that, and you four meet up about a half a block or so down. You guys reunite, and this is about a block and a half away from the Doyle household.
Okay. So I would share again with them like what I saw, the posturing, and it looks like something might go down, and I would just ask the group if they wanted to intervene or just keep on going.
If the police gets involved, it'll get ugly. They're not known for their mercy of the poor.
An excellent reason not to be there.
Agreed.
Ms. Russell, okay, so it sounds like we want to just keep on trucking. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, she would have had some experience with rabble rousing and such in the streets of Hong Kong. So
Rabble.
Dove kind of shakes his head. He goes, "I'm torn. They would need us, but there are so many of them. We'll be here all night."
Okay.
And we do have responsibilities on this evening, so I would encourage us to keep to our commitments.
Okay, so it sounds like we're just going to keep on heading toward Mrs. Doyle's house.
All right. Okay, then what we'll do is let me shift this out. Oops, that was a mistake. Fix that. Fix that step. All right. So I can move that out of the way. Very cool. All right. So you guys make your way away from the mob and the shouting and the declarations of freedom from this impending conscription bill. And you make your way into a quieter area of the neighborhood. The shouts of the mob, that sort of thing, are still kind of an echo in the back of all of your minds, just simply because it's just they're there. So out through the rain, you guys continue, and you come across the address that was given to you by Sir Winston Clarkson. There is a small alley to the side of this address that leads to the servants' entrance, and then there is the front door, which has the wrought iron gate that you open, and then you kind of ascend the steps to the front door. So,
servants' entrance here.
Yeah, I'm going through the front door.
Now, are all is Miranda, Dr. Loom, and Dove going to the side entrance?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Lieutenant Blackwell, you head up to the front door and make your presence known. I take it.
Yes. So I knock on the door.
All right. So, how tall is Lieutenant Blackwell? What kind of figure does he cut?
Let's see. He is. I had it written down somewhere. He's about 6 feet. He's muscular, lean kind of build, military build. So.
All right. Cool.
Not too imposing.
All right, cool. That works. All right. So you knock on the door, and the door opens, and you're looking at open air for a second, but then you, because of your inclinations, or not inclinations, but involvement with Dr. Loom, you realize, oh, I need to look down, and there you see a dwarf butler with a meticulously manicured beard, dressed in a black suit. And even at the late hour, he still looks as if he had just dressed and presented him and made himself presentable. He looks up at you and says, "Yes, good evening. How can I help you?"
Good evening, Lieutenant Albion Blackwell to see Mrs. Henry Doyle.
Ah, yes, Lieutenant Blackwell. And he kind of looks beyond you and he says, "I was told to expect 4. Are the rest of them going around the side entrance?"
Of course.
Ah, good. I assume that Mrs. Doyle has hired the right people then. And so he says, "Please enter." And so he steps aside for you, and he as soon as the door closes, he actually walks. There's like a little entryway here, and he walks over along the wall. There is a set of steps, like a 3-step platform, that he climbs up on top of to where he is now equal height with you. And he says, "May I take your coat, sir?"
So I give him my coat.
That's
So,
spectacular.
Very
Coat
good,
is
sir.
probably longer than he
Yeah.
is.
So he takes your coat and he moves back down the steps and heads over to a little. There's like a small little coat closet that's right next to the front door that he manages to put the coat away.
That has another little step ladder.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so he actually, it's kind of cool is that he has like a little pull down that he uses that he hangs the
Nice.
coat on, and then he brings it back up so that it doesn't dangle on the floor. So, well, inventiveness there. So he comes back out and he taps a small wooden panel along the wall, and the steps recede into the wall and then hide themselves so that it's open space for you to enter. Please, if you will, sir, you may follow me. And so he leads you into the interior of the home, and there's a small hallway that leads inward. To your right, he directs you through another set of doors, double doors that telescope in and out of the wall. So he opens them up for you. And inside is a sitting room with a fire that's going in two windows that are open to the night. Actually, no, they're closed to the night because of the noise outside. So let's go ahead and present that to you here. There you go.
Cool.
So that is the room in which you are asked to sit, and he directs you over to the couch over here on the left and bids you to sit. I will see to your retinue, as it were. Please have a seat here, and I will have refreshments brought to you. Is there anything that you would particularly wish to have?
No, that is fine. Thank you.
Very good. It shan't be too long. Mrs. Doyle will be attending you forthwith. And so he kind of stands almost at an attention, and he kind of like, you see a look in his eye like, I haven't done that in a long time, and he like turns about and he walks out of the room and closes the door. And on the servant's side, you guys go over to the side entrance, and there's another wrought iron gate, little half gate that you open up, and you can go in. And then there's a stone alcove in which you can go inside, and there's a big oaken door that's there. Looks like it has another side entrance set here that's more for like dropping things down into the basement. You know, like whether it's flour or whatever, and supplies need to be lowered down there. But yeah, you guys approach the door. Who's going to make the announcement of your arrival?
I think it's better for all of us if I do.
Okay.
The
I
doctor
think
will
that I
have
should
his,
do the talking.
I think it's for all of us if I do it.
Yeah, I'll
Well.
agree with that. Nice.
That's
He
fine.
said, very well then. So be it. So so you knock on the door, and there is a let's see here. There is a housemaid that answers it. She's dressed in kind of like your traditional Victorian housemaid garb, you know, a long dress with the white frills and the apron that comes out with the embellishments here, and a nice knit cap that goes over her hair to keep it tied up. And she looks she looks right at your belly button, Dove, and then she's like, oh my word. She looks up and says, oh, hello there, sir. I assume that you are here with the lieutenant.
That would be correct.
Very good. Please come in. And so she turns around. You can tell, I mean, she's kind of a timid creature by nature. It's not just the fact that Dove is a gigantic presence here. Yeah. And in fact, you have to kind of duck a little bit to get through the doorway, but once you're inside, the ceilings are such that you can actually stand upright. And so she says, we do appreciate you coming in through the side entrance, but my lady has bid that you join her in the sitting room. So if you will please follow me. And she goes over to what looks like kind of a little alcove set aside, a square alcove with a bench and places for coats and stuff, and she nods to you all if you wish to, take off your rainy coats and that kind of thing. You can do so.
Okay.
There-
I would do so.
Basically, I'm gonna look at her and be like, does the lady really expect me?
She was given notification that there would be someone of your. Yes, she is expecting you.
So Dove just nods and he normally it would be his prerogative to stay in the servants area, but if she was told a bear man is coming, then yeah, he'll go.
All right.
Try not to shed on the.